Welcome to this bigger arms workout to increase the size of your biceps as well as your triceps. We're going to be using a combination of exercises involving dumbbells and our body weight for resistance. Let's kick things off with the dumbbell incline curl, stretching and stressing your arms to grow bigger. So what's the point of doing incline curls? Well, the advantage is that we're seated, we've got the bracing and stability from the bench so that we're forced to do the work from our biceps. By comparison to, say, a standing curl, it's a good exercise, but we're more likely to start swinging and using momentum. You're going to set your bench up at a 45 to 60 degree angle. You're going to use a weight that challenges you for the rep range in the workout. You're going to keep your back completely flat against the bench. Head against the bench is great for that extra bracing, and you're just going to curl up, full elbow flexion, coming down all the way, full stretch to the straight arm position. Contract the triceps to make sure the biceps are fully stretched, and you're going to repeat this, grinding away until you can no longer get that full range of motion, using a explosive tempo on the way up, slow on the way down. It's not rocket science, but it's hard to do the basics well. There's something called stimulus to fatigue. We're getting more out of less weight when doing incline curls. You expect the weight that you lift to drop by around 20%, and that's completely okay. The muscle doesn't care about weight lifted, it just understands tension. Big stretch equals big results. If you know anything about the latest science on bodybuilding, it's all about stretch-mediated hypertrophy. Training our muscles at a lengthened state is huge for hypertrophy. Expect your muscles to get much bigger when using exercises that apply the science. Strength is a major benefit too. You're going to get much stronger in that straight arm position on things like chin-ups. So expect yourself to improve weak links as well as mitigate injury in these risky positions. Listen to me, effort means everything. When you're doing your incline curls, it needs to be challenging. Your rep speed should be slowing down on those final few curls. You should be shaking, you should be struggling. The effort should be high. This is the sign that you're actually training with genuine effort close to failure. If you're not, you might as well do something else. But if you want to get results in your workouts, you need to bring the effort, and it needs to objectively be challenging with that rep speed. As you can see, my final few reps here is exactly what I expect from you. Slowing down, shaking, contorting your face. Those are all good things. During incline curls, you'll be working the biceps as a whole, but based on the positioning of the bench, the angle of your body, it's going to bias a bit more of the long head. So for people that want to get that biceps peak, the incline curl is a great way to get that done. Using anything from around 60 to 45 degrees is going to be best for most people most of the time. What you choose is going to modify the strength curve and how the resistance feels through range. Find what feels great for you, work on that, and train hard. And an effective strategy that you can do to maximize your results is something called stretch partials. You curl up, you can only get to halfway, you come down, you try again, you nearly reach that, then you quarter range, and then you just squeeze out another one. This way you're going to completely exhaust the biceps, and these stretched partials are so effective to do on your final set to get max hypertrophy. Moving on to the body weight tricep extension. This one is going to annihilate your arms. You're going to love the tension that you feel in your triceps using body weight resistance. This exercise can be done anywhere without fancy equipment. I'm showing you today on an incline bench because it's accessible for most people, and you can easily adjust the height of the difficulty to suit your level. But with bodyweight tricep extensions, you can do them at home, you can do them at a hotel, you can do them at a park, and of course, a gym. All you need is something sturdy to put your hands on and get after it. You don't need fancy equipment, guys. The person that's doing calisthenics exercises hard or dumbbell exercises hard is going to run circles around someone that has a full gym setup, doing the optimal exercises and machines and all these fancy, expensive things, but they're just not trying. Who do you think is going to get better results? The person putting in the effort. So why should we do these bodyweight tricep extensions? It's a fun exercise. It's the calisthenics equivalent of doing skull crushers at the gym using weights, except in this case, we're using our body weight as resistance. There's something enjoyable about walking into a workout with just your body weight as an exercise option and being able to trash your triceps, making them grow bigger. Expect yourself to get much stronger on every compound exercise that you do. With calisthenics, your dips and your push-ups will be so much easier. You'll find that lockout an absolute breeze. When doing your gym lifts, such as your bench press and your overhead press, same thing. Those triceps will make your compounds better as a result. You want to put your hands close together so that you can push with a tucked elbow technique. This keeps the joints happy and tension on the tricep. Otherwise, hip position, I don't want you to stick your bum up in the air like this. Keep a plank posture, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the abs, and keep that a constant. All that's left to do is fully bend your elbow and get a nice deep stretch overhead. This is going to lengthen that long head of the tricep. You're going to love this exercise. Feels awesome, gets great results, and it's only using your body weight. I want to highlight that you should really forcefully squeeze your triceps hard at the top in the lockout, then get a full stretch with the arms overhead, fully bending the elbows. When you do that, you're going to lengthen the whole tricep. Don't skip the stretch and you'll get the gains. Hammer curl is a variation that should be in your program if you're not doing it already. We're doing this standing and two arms simultaneously just to save a little bit of time. When we're doing this, full range of motion consists of a full elbow flexion, coming down until our elbows are straight. I like to keep my arms slightly in front of the body just to have that consistency, because if we let our arms back like this, we can see our range of motion is being cut. Pro tip with your hammer curls, keep your hand in the middle of the dumbbell, because this is going to fully recruit your forearm and bicep muscles and increase your grip strength. If we just rest our hand on the top, small detail, but the weight and gravity is just keeping our hand in place. The neutral grip hammer curl targets your forearm and bicep muscles. It hits that brachioradialis of your forearm, as well as the brachialis muscle that sits in between your biceps and triceps. If you're looking to build well-balanced arms, complete aesthetics, then the hammer curl is your go-to option. You're just not going to hit these muscle groups with traditional curls. Increased grip strength is a welcome byproduct of hammer curls. Because this exercise comes second in our workout, it's likely that your forearm muscles are already tired, and that's good. We're going to get in some extra work into this much needed area. Don't be surprised if you wake up the next day with tired hands and sore forearms. That's all good stuff. By training all functions of the bicep and forearm using this neutral grip variation, you're going to get so much better on any neutral grip exercise in the gym, such as neutral grip pull-ups or pull-downs. The hammer curl is often neglected, which is a real shame. This is leaving room on the table for progress on a new variation. It's leaving muscle growth on the table in areas that you don't normally train. After all, the hammer curl is just another variation in your bicep building toolbox. The hammer curl is elbow and wrist joint friendly. Dumbbells are much more forgiving on your joints and tendons by comparison to barbells, and the neutral grip takes this even a step further. So if you're someone who has an injury or is trying to avoid pain and discomfort, the neutral grip hammer curl is a lifesaver for bodybuilding. I don't mean to scare you, but the most common cause of injury for people trying to grow bigger arms is doing the exact same exercise over and over. Always supinated curls without any variation. I like to finish my set with a few alternating reps. This is just going into what we spoke about with the stretch partials, effort relative to failure, using a little bit of swing, getting nasty with it on those final reps to fully exhaust the biceps. Today highlights the importance of hitting your muscle groups from different angles, using exercise variation to keep your body healthy and building muscle long-term. Bench dips don't get the love they deserve. They're truly effective for isolating the triceps. The bench dip is a pretty easy exercise to master, but here's what I want you to keep in mind. You're going to elevate the feet, arms behind you, keeping a proud chest posture. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together throughout the exercise, come down to 90 degrees, even deeper if you can. Extend the elbows up. We want to use this deep range of motion to fully stretch our triceps, and that's where the magic happens. Tempo wise, we're going to come down quite slowly with control, especially into this deep stretch. Pause, explode up. That's going to give you those killer triceps. Some people get pain and discomfort when doing tricep dips. This normal way of doing bench dips internally rotates the shoulders, and it doesn't agree with some people's bodies. By turning the hands outwards, this externally rotates the shoulders, and it might just feel better for you. Don't look at this exercise and throw the baby out with the bathwater saying it's terrible. It's an awesome exercise. It can really hit the triceps quite hard, but you just need to be patient or modify the exercise so that it actually does suit your body. But bench dips are too easy. I can do 50 reps of this exercise. I got you covered, mate. Dumbbell onto the lap, start at this 90-degree bend so you can get into place, step up, set your position, keep the weight in place, down, up, include Arnold meme. Up, down. But this is going to load up the exercise, challenging you further for the rep range in the program. The bench dip trains your triceps at a different angle. With this exercise, we're in a shoulder extended position with our arms behind the body, hitting the triceps in this way. This is a great complement to our overhead tricep exercises that we just did previously. If you want complete aesthetics in your arms, it is a smart idea to attack the muscle from a variety of angles and exercise variations. The advantage of bench dips is we're isolating the triceps more. Thanks to the position of our body, we're reducing the involvement of our delts and our chest, allowing us to more exhaust the tricep muscles. What's cool about bench dips is we're taking advantage of body weight exercise. We're going to get the aesthetics, we'll increase muscle mass in our triceps, thicken up our arms, but we're also improving control of our body, being able to stabilize in this closed kinetic chain exercise. That's the beauty of body weight. That's the beauty of calisthenics. You get your body functioning and you also get the muscle mass to boot. Don't think you've outgrown bodyweight exercises until you've done them with that super strict cyborg technique by using a slower speed, controlling that negative 3, 4, 5 seconds a rep, pausing at the bottom, going deeper. This tempo is better for bodybuilding because it stresses your muscles, makes you fatigue in a lower rep range, and it's friendlier on your joints. So it's a win-win in all respects. I'm curious, on arm day, do you just use weights? Do you do bodyweight exercises only, or a combination of both? Drop a comment. The preacher curl is a variation which is going to increase your biceps width. I personally prefer 45 degrees because of the stretch, the angle, the sensation. It just allows me to lock in and curl my brains out. You'll notice that I've got an alternating staggered stance. When I'm working my left arm, I've got my right foot in front, and then vice versa. I like to really get nice and locked in here, stable, get the other hand in. I'm not going to move anywhere with my torso or my body, just elbow flexion. We're going to curl up all the way to peak contraction, lower down with control, all the way until the dumbbell touches the incline bench. I like to keep a slight flexion in my wrist to fully recruit my forearms to help me display my maximum performance on these preacher curls. Make sure that my elbow has the very slightest bend in it at that end range, just for safety on the biceps tendon. By contrast to doing your preacher curls like this, you can see it's the same bench angle, but my elbow is hyperextended. The risk to reward ratio just isn't worth it for doing that. The benefit of preacher curls is the elbow is locked in place. We've got that stability, and it allows us to get our full motor unit recruitment of the muscles in our biceps. This makes sure that the bicep muscle is the true limiting factor in the exercise. We contrast this with standing bicep variations where this is not the case. We're swinging around and we can use all of these other accessory muscles to help us complete the lift. Preacher curls are lengthened biased. There's a ton of tension in that stretch position when the elbows are straight. The exercise is also most difficult in that lockout, so we'll be maximizing hypertrophy, but also working on a bottleneck from a strength perspective where most of us are weak in that end range. The incline bench is perfect for preachers because it standardizes range of motion. As you get towards that elbow extended, stretched position, the dumbbell is going to have a limit to how far you can go. This prevents you from overstretching the muscle, but more importantly, it sets a consistent start and end point for your preachers. we're training at a mechanical disadvantage. That bottom range is really difficult. You have to produce a ton of torque and rotational force in your biceps. This is fantastic. It's a good setup because it makes light weights feel heavy. I love these bad boys because unilateral training is fantastic for working on side to side differences. Most of us have a weaker and smaller arm than the other. That's completely normal. And if we only ever do bilateral curls, we tend to compensate with one side more than the other. A pro tip, always start your set with your weaker and smaller arm and then go on to the other side, rest and repeat. This just gives your full focus when you've got the most mental and physical energy to give on the side that needs a bit more love. The dumbbell skull crusher is such an underrated exercise for home workouts or if you're looking to just train with minimal equipment. I want you to have the elbows behind you in line with your head, and you're going to fully bend the elbows and straighten them, keeping the weights somewhat back. This keeps tension on the triceps and it's really friendly on your joints. For some people, when they see this exercise, they start doing it like completely vertical. As you can see the alignment of my elbow and my forearm. Don't be just doing this here like this, bah, bah, bah. Can cause some issues in the joints, so keep that in mind. A common mistake is turning this into a pullover. People will lift the arms overhead like this and then hoist the weight up. This cheats by using the bigger pecs and the lats to do the skull crusher motion. Keep fixed, stretch maximally at the elbows, get that slow tempo, get that stretch deep, and then extend back like that. The most common cause of elbow pain during skull crushers are using poor technique. This would be going too fast on the negative, bouncing out of the bottom from the stretch, using too heavy weights where you can't control the form, and also using a pressing path that doesn't suit your anatomy. Ultimately, it comes down to humbling yourself, checking your technique, reviewing it, and even lightening the weight and just using a more strict tempo. It's isolation. You're not lifting heavy ass weights on bench press. Feel it in the muscle, grow the muscle, and slowly increase the weight lifted. The problem these days is we look on the internet and we see people exercising with a full gym setup. They've got a cable station, they've got this machine, and it makes us believe that if we're not training with an expensive setup, that we're going to get suboptimal results. I'll tell you this, if you're using good technique on the dumbbell skull crusher, if you're using a weight that challenges you and you're training close to muscular failure, I guarantee that your triceps will get a robust stimulus to grow bigger and stronger. One of the downsides of free weights is if we're not careful, other muscle groups can come in and compensate. Our body doesn't like discomfort or pain. It's going to be moving and wiggling around to take tension off your triceps. You've got to be the boss of this movement. You have to force that strict technique. Even when you're starting to suffer, if it starts to burn, that's great stuff. When you control how the movement is, that's how you get the most out of free weights. We don't have the luxury of the machine stabilizing us. We have to stabilize the free weights. If you keep that in mind, you'll get really big success when using dumbbells to isolate your triceps. Dumbbell skull crushers are preferable over barbells just because it's a bit more joint friendly. You've got more freedom of movement during the exercise. You can also hit both arms independently so that if you have any strength or size differences left to right, you can guarantee that both arms are doing equal work. All right, everyone, here's the complete workout summary from today. If you can, I recommend doing a superset where you do the bicep exercise immediately followed by the triceps exercise. Then you rest for a few minutes, repeat this sequence until the sets are complete, and then you move on to the next exercise pair and finish it this way. On every exercise that you do, your final few reps should be slowing down. You should be struggling. It should be difficult. And on the last set of each exercise, take it to true muscular failure. On a bicep curl, you shouldn't even be able to bend your elbow at all. On your tricep exercises, you shouldn't be able to fully extend your elbows. This means you've done everything in your power to completely tear down your muscles so that when you rest, eat, sleep, they'll grow back bigger and you can rinse and repeat. Hopefully you enjoy that thick and juicy biceps tricep pump. Your arms are going to grow huge if you train them consistently. Check out another Fitness FAQs video to keep on learning. See you next time.